Hello, movie fans. My name is Jamie Sanders, and this is the Dish Oscar Special. Tonight we'll be delving into the actors, directors, writers, and artists nominated for the 87th Academy Awards. The big award show is tomorrow night, hosted by Neil Patrick Harris, because I was very busy. Here with me is Wesley Embledge, assistant movie editor for Entertainment Monthly, Spoiler Piece Theater co-host Christopher Jensen, and Gatehouse Media film critic Ed Simkus to give us their insight and predictions for the night's winners, losers, and everything in between. As with the show, we are starting this afternoon with supporting actor. Hopefully they won't be judged too harshly, but we can't make any guarantees. But first, let's meet our panelists. How you guys doing today?
I'm doing great. I kind of wish this show was in the summer. Oscars in the summer next year.
Yes. Now, you actually went to Emerson College.
I am an alum. Emerson 72, and still loving movies. And I'm back at Emerson.
And now, Chris, you are not an Emerson alum, but you are from the Boston film community.
I sure am. I was associate film editor at Dig Boston for a number of years and had a great number of terrific Emerson alums writing for us.
And now, finally, Wesley, you still go here.
I do. I have not graduated yet. Working on that.
It's cool. We have a broad representation. And so first up, we are going to check out the nominees for Best Supporting Actor in a Film. All right, so those nominees are Robert Duvall for The Judge, Ethan Hawke for Boyhood, Edward Norton for Birdman, Mark Ruffalo for Foxcatcher, and J.K. Simmons for Whiplash. Now, you guys, who do you think will win, and who do you think should win? Let's say Ed first.
And we're holding up our answers?
Hold up your answers.
We're going to hold up. I think it's kind of a two-way thing. J.K. Simmons is going to win. J.K. Simmons should win. But I really also liked Ed Norton in Birdman. But J.K. Simmons, I'm going with him.
All right, do we have something different than Chris?
Not really, no. I agree J.K. Simmons both should and will win. I will agree with the Boardman assessment because I don't think Ed Norton was putting his all into it.
Oh.
I thought he was really good.
I liked
no,
it.
he's Ed Norton.
Yeah.
He was Ed Norton as himself in Birdman, the guy who steps in and interferes with the production because he knows better than the director.
I think he's better than Keaton,
Now,
personally.
Wesley, are you in agreement of this too?
Yeah, this is pretty boring, I guess, because I'm also, I think J.K. Simmons will win because he's great and should win because he's great.
All right, now, this is Ed Norton was great. Him in his underwear, him just in general. Now, Ed Norton, you say you felt like he wasn't putting his all in.
Well, I felt like as far as Ed Norton roles go, this wouldn't be the one that I would give the Oscar to. Ed Norton was an Ed Norton character in it, so he was well cast, but I don't think there was anything about it that shone out. The sarcastic comment aside, that was I did think he was good, but I don't think an Oscar for this role.
Simmons Simmons. You know, the first time I ever saw Simmons that I recall was from in Oz, and he knocked me out back then. And then when I saw him in Juno. Yeah. Where did that performance come from? And now seeing him do this one was just such a refreshing change. What a major talent of a guy. So give it to him.
Now here's an interesting question. If by whatever reason, if the movie never came out, J.K. Simmons was not nominated, which of these guys do you think would win?
Of the others?
Yeah.
Probably Norton.
I'll stick with Ed Norton.
Still Norton?
He would.
Norton all the way?
If anyone takes it from Simmons, it's probably going to be Norton.
That Ed Norton, I guess, is a good follow-up guy because he is a brilliant actor. But man, those men were certainly heated about those other men. But let's get some ladies up in this sausage fest. Here are the best supporting actresses. Are you guys ready? Okay, gentlemen, start your writing. Best supporting actress nominees are Patricia Arquette for Boyhood, Laura Dern for Wild, Keira Knightley for The Imitation Game, Emma Stone for Birdman, and Meryl Streep for Into the Woods. Give them a second to finish up. And do you guys have your answers? Wesley, let's start with you. You went last. Now you get to go first.
Okay.
Who will win and who should win?
I'm pretty sure we're going to go with Patricia Arquette to win. She's been winning all the awards, and she is great. And I'm totally fine with her winning. She's really good. She deserves it. But Laura Dern is also a pretty great pick, pretty great actress who really deserves the recognition. She's great in Wild and really everything. So, yeah, those are mine.
All right, now Chris, you are in the middle once again.
Sure. I will also go Arquette. That is, I mean, the movie belongs to her as much as it does anybody else, lead boy included, and Ethan Hawke. I am all about Emma Stone because it's pretty impressive that she's able to steal a movie away from the, decades embedded industry guy. And her one scene alone, I think, is award worthy. The one where she explodes at him.
And I'm spying over your shoulder
You're
that
spying.
you are once again in
Yeah,
agreement.
I just wrote Patricia Arquette once and then put a couple of the ditto marks on the bottom. It was a remarkable performance for everybody in that film because they had to continue that character once a year, every year, and keep the same mood and same tone of the character as they grew also and developed. So I thought she did a marvelous performance. I don't have a second place winner. She's all the way.
Now, I think this is very interesting, though, that you are saying that Stone could win, because that is a 12-year-long performance versus a single scene.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I suppose Stone would be in the should win category alongside Arquette. No, I mean, it belongs to Patricia Arquette. I think that's sort of. Yeah.
And of course, then you do have Laura Dern, who does hold up an entire movie on her own, or not an entire movie on her own, but she does, she is a strong character in a very difficult to find female. I've heard a lot of things about how it was difficult to find kind of female nominees for this year, as it was a very hard year for female nominees in the Oscars.
Yeah. So many female performances were nominated only for acting awards and nothing else, and I think that illustrates that problem.
Yeah, Wild is just
Well,
Wild is entirely that.
Yeah.
Speaking about behind the scenes, let's give it up for our in-studio crew. They're killing these cuts. Behind the scenes guys are always kind of underrated, but not right now, because here are the nominees for Best Editing. Hey-oh, that's a good transition. Thank you, writers. Oh, the Best Film Editing is Joel Cox and Gary Roach for American Sniper, Sandra Adair for Boyhood, Barney Pilling for The Grand Budapest Hotel, William Goldenberg for The Imitation Game, and Tom Cross for Whiplash. I think that we're going to have some interesting choices for this. I'm excited for this. All right. You guys ready for this? Okay, I'm going to start with Chris because you've been in the middle. Let's put you first
thank you.
now.
Lovely. I'm going to go Will. I'm going to go Will win, even though it won't win, because in my mind it'll win. Is Whiplash, because watch any movie about musicians and you're taken out of the moment by how much the performances do not sync together, and they Whiplash just nailed it. Everything about it, the drama of musical performance along with the performance itself. Should win. There was a movie nobody saw from last year called Locke with Tom Hardy.
Oh, wonderful movie.
Yeah, nominated. Entire movie takes place in a car, and that sounds like a gimmick, and it is, but it works. Thanks in no small part to the editing.
All right, now let's go over to Ed.
I'm going for Birdman as Will Win. Again, everything was remarkable about this movie, I think. There's no editing in Birdman. I mean, it's all like 12-minute shots. There's very little editing, and it was made to look like it wasn't
the thing
edited.
is, Birdman isn't
Not
nominated.
nominated.
That's one of the first times that that.
Well, still, Birdman should win. All right. Well, then
Mine
I'm going to
wasn't
go with
nominated either.
I'm going to go with. I'm reading my list wrong.
Birdman is going to run. And
American
finally, Wesley,
Sniper.
you also have
American
different things.
Sniper should
You do have American Sniper on there, I see.
Yeah, I'm guessing American Sniper is going to win. I think Whiplash, my should win, has a pretty good shot, but I feel like American Sniper is going to clean up somewhere, and I feel like technical awards are probably its best shot. So something like editing makes a lot of sense. But I would love Whiplash because it's just so dynamic. Yeah.
Well, I guess that this could go just about any way. Things are getting real heated in here. I am sweating, so we're going to go to commercial real quick and make sure to check out how well edited they are, because apparently people have a lot of opinions on it. And we're back. We're coming to you live here in the beautifully designed Vindabona Studios. I mean, it's kind of crazy how much the setting can affect the mood of the room. Just look at this desk here. It makes me feel official and important. The production design is always important, so here are the Oscar nominees for production design. All right, gentlemen, are you ready? We know the drill at this point. We have The Grand Budapest Hotel, The Imitation Game, Interstellar, Into the Woods, and Mr. Turner. All right, so let's start off with Ed once again. Ed, how are you feeling about the production design?
Birdman. No, I'm joking. Joking. Grand Budapest Hotel is going to win. It was like watching a bunch of pieces of candy with actors running around. And however, that's what's going to. And I thought Mr. Turner was a real class act as far as just a great-looking film. That's the one I would have given it to, but Grand Budapest gets it.
All right, let's toss it over to Wesley.
I'm kind of in the same boat. I'm figuring Grand Budapest is going to get it. I think it will also get a lot of these technical awards early on, this kind of stuff, especially production design, because it's just such a gorgeous movie, and I think it totally deserves it. So I agree with this if it happens, hopefully.
And Chris?
Not much disagreement here. Grand Budapest. If Mr. Turner does win, then I'll totally,
I'm on board for that.
Yeah, I'm
Okay
totally
with
on
you?
board for it. Yeah, I think the thing that doesn't go very stated about Grand Budapest is how it captures pre-World War royal, then fascist occupation, Eastern Bloc, then post-Soviet, and all of those have a distinct look. I think that's pretty amazing. I think,
Wonderful stuff.
yeah.
Well, I think that you guys kind of are all in agreement of that. So let's just take a moment here and admire this sweet suit I'm wearing. It gives the illusion that I'm a professional, even though I'm not. I'm a put-together human being, kind of. But this suit was actually the design of Colleen Atwood, who worked for Into the Woods. Can't you see the resemblance to Anna Kendrick? I can. And my mom can, too. Speaking of which, just as important as this... Oh, wait, sorry. We're going to talk about some costume design. So, costume design. Are you guys ready for some costume design? We have Grand Budapest Hotel, that seems like a favorite, Inherent Vice, Into the Woods, Maleficent, and once again, Mr. Turner. Now, who will win?
Me again?
Yes,
Oh,
Ed, I'm gonna toss it to you.
Actually, you know,
Yes.
we have these boards that we're supposed to hold up and erase every time, and I just erased it and then put the exact same ones from the last award in. My right hand is hurting. Budapest Hotel, going to win it again. Just beautiful stuff all the way through it. And my second place, my choice if I could vote, Mr. Turner. Amazing costumes and great hats. Best hats I've seen all year.
And now, Chris, you have something very different.
Yeah, I've got Inherent Vice. Part of it is just, when you do a standardized test and you have too many A's in a row and you want to go with a B. That's the reason I think Inherent Vice, it got nominated for things, and I think this is the thing that it will win, is costume design. And it's rare that you have a movie that actually, a period piece that feels like it's in the period instead of just a stagey drama. It feels like it was made in 1970.
And now, Wesley, you actually have the reverse of what Ed had.
I do. I think Mr. Turner will win. The Academy loves to give stuff to these period pieces, but I would go rather with Grand Budapest. I'm always more impressed by movies with costume design where they kind of have to create their own things. So the uniforms in Grand Budapest, I'm always a supporter of giving costume design and makeup to like sci-fi movies where they have to create this whole new world. So yeah, I think Mr. Turner, but I'm hoping Grand Budapest. So I hope Ed's right.
All right, well, let's just take a moment to talk about Inherent Vice. You're really convinced it's Inherent Vice. That's a will win and should win, and you guys both think it's two other films. Now, you have 10 seconds to make a case for Inherent Vice, like real strong, against Grand Budapest. And Mr. Turner.
All who doubt
I
me.
liked Inherent Vice a lot.
I think the costumes are great. I
like
just
the
don't think
look.
it'll win.
I
Yeah.
liked everything.
No,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
was very happy with that
Is
one.
this, oh, it's just,
Sorry.
all right.
There's going to be no drama.
No
here.
love lost.
It's a
here.
toss-up.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
This
We
is
all
not
support
the
it.
argument category.
Great T-shirts.
Well, just as important as the sets and costumes are the visual effects. And this category we have coming up recognizes the work from 3 different Marvel franchises, the newest installment of a nearly 50-year-old franchise, and a film set in space, The Land of the Mystical. We've got some big-budget heavy hitters in this category, so get on your big boy pants, preferably CGI big boy pants, because here are the nominees. All right, best visual effects is Dan DeLue, Russell Earl, Brian Grill, and Dan Sudik for Captain America the Winter Soldier. Joe Letteri, Dan Lemon, Daniel Barrett, and Eric Winquist for Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. Stefan, I'm just going to skip the names because there's a lot of names. I'm going to say Guardians of the Galaxy, Interstellar, and X-Men Days of Future Past. All right, guys. Who do we think? Ooh, good. I'm seeing some debate on these. Okay, let's start it off with Wesley.
Okay, I think Interstellar is probably going to take this. It's got a lot of this like great practical, a lot of models used, a lot of stuff that the Academy probably likes. It's kind of harkening back to old age. Didn't use any green screens, a lot of that kind of great stuff. But I'm really hoping that Dawn of the Planet of the Apes is able to take this. The stuff they did on the previous nominated, but only nominated film, Rise, is incredible, this motion capture, and they've just upped the game again this time, and they look even better. These apes are... Andy Serkis does incredible work, so I'm really hoping that that's able to sneak in, but I'm not counting on it.
Now, Chris, you think that it can take it, don't you?
The Planet will win?
Yeah, Planet,
absolutely. I think people recognize how the apes are the best part of this movie, and there's more emotion coming out of the apes than there are the people. And I think people acknowledge how much of an achievement that is. I think Interstellar should win for the exact reason that you said that it will win, is that they did everything the hard way. There's a surprising little amount of CG, except only when they actually needed it. And also there was the scientific breakthrough of how a black hole actually works. That's, there's papers published about what a black hole looks like to your eyes, and the CG team figured that out.
And now, Ed, how are you feeling about this?
Apes, good. I think, and I've seen the movie twice now, and it's just wonderful stuff again with the motion capture. But Guardians of the Galaxy, I just had so much fun with it, and I believed everything that was in it. I am one of the few people I know that actually had a little bit of trouble with Interstellar, with the black hole. I thought it looked a little cheesy to me, but I know nothing about science. But I'm going to give the award. I think the Academy will give the award to Apes.
Now, since you guys did enjoy Planet of the Apes so much, when do you think the time will come that an actor performing as, say, an ape, like Andy Serkis, like everybody thinks he deserves a nomination for Gollum back with Lord of the Rings. When do you think the time will come that people will recognize the actors for their work in these visual movies?
Should have happened already.
Yeah.
It really should have.
The question comes whether there will be a separate category for virtual characters, or if they'll acknowledge it at the same time as alongside live in-person performances. But either way, this is a real phenomenon that they're making huge breakthroughs in, and it deserves recognition.
Completely. I've heard a lot of people suggest the idea of a best collaborative performance category, because there's the idea that the effects team is a big part of this, as is the actor.
The effects team is pretty huge, and those monkeys are crazy. I mean, am I right? And there's a talking raccoon. Are you kidding me? This is so overwhelming. I need a minute to calm down, so let's take a break, and we will be right back, I swear. I'm going to fan myself. Woo. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, aliens and other aliens, welcome back to the Dishes 2015 Oscar Special. I took a 5, got some fresh air, and now we're ready to keep dishing on this year's nominees. Get it? Dishing? And anyway, we are joined by these panelists. We have Ed Simkus. How you doing, Ed?
Excellent.
We have Christopher Jensen. You still hanging in there? And Wesley Embledge. You good? Everybody good? Okay. Well, then, in any case, here are the nominees for Best Cinematography in a Film. Here we go. Are you ready? We have Emmanuel Lubezki, Birdman, Robert Yeoman, The Grand Budapest Hotel, Lucas Zal and Richard Liswinke for Ida, Dick Pope for Mr. Turner, and Roger Deakins for Unbroken. Now, what are you guys thinking? Let's start with Chris.
All right.
I get to choose them. It's great.
This is another thing I think Grand Budapest will win for, and I wouldn't be upset if it did. There's a lot of very deserving nominees in this category, and I see that my fellow panelists agree with me. There was a movie that not many people saw this year, directed by Tommy Lee Jones, called The Homesman, which was gorgeous. It was everything. Who knew that Tommy Lee Jones was such a visual genius and a great storyteller? I recommend checking it out. A throwback, a revisionist Western, I would say. Seek it out.
All right. Now, Wesley, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't love The Homesman, but I'll agree that it is gorgeous. I think Emmanuel Lubezki for Birdman, he pretty much has this locked up. If anyone else takes it, it'll be kind of insane. But I'm not as big a fan of his work. I think it's an incredible feat, but I think the most gorgeous movie of these nominees is Dick Pope's work for Mr. Turner. It's just such a beautiful looking movie. You've referenced a lot of the production design and whatnot, but I think Dick Pope is the real star here. I'll be actually sad if Roger Deakins takes it, because he's a cinematographer, maybe my favorite, but I think this is some of his weakest work lately. And I've been waiting for him to win, so I almost hope this isn't his year and he comes back stronger with something later.
And Ed, what's your opinion on that?
You gotta stick Roger Deakins, let him stay with the Coen brothers. He does his best work with them. Birdman, Emmanuel Lubezki, he won it last year for Gravity. He was nominated for Children of Men. I think he's going to do 2 in a row. Deserves it. Amazing film. Again, this was what I thought was nominated for editing. Just long takes. And beautiful lighting all the way through on these 12, 15, 20-minute takes. Just an amazing job.
Yeah, let's talk about Birdman versus Grand Budapest, the idea of that free-form moving camera versus the very set, artistic setup of the colors and the shapes. What do you think gives one the edge over the other?
Boy, they're 2 completely different animals. Yeah. Well, first of all, Grand Budapest is such a colorful thing. And the whole lighting scheme in that was so different from the rather dark stuff going on backstage in Birdman. So I think I can't compare the 2 at all. It's just the style of the long cuts versus the short ones that just impressed me more in this.
Each one lent itself to what the story was about, where Birdman was just constantly propelling itself forward, and so the cameras sort of captured that. Where Grand Budapest Hotel, depending on who was telling the story, that's what it looked like. Yeah.
Well, now we're going to go get a little more real, because this year's nominees for Best Documentary include a cinema verite style film about Edward Snowden, a Sundance film about the Vietnam War, and the story of 4 individuals fighting to protect a national park and the gorillas that call it their home. It looks like the Academy has finally responded to my request for more monkeys to be represented in the show. Thank you, Academy. Here are the nominees. All right. We have Citizen 4 by Laura Poitras, Mathilde Bonnefoy, and Dirk Wilotsky. Finding Vivian Maier by John Maloof and Charlie Siskel. Last Days in Vietnam, which is Rory Kennedy and Kevin McAllister. The Salt of the Earth, Wim Wenders, Giuliano Ribeiro Saldago, and David Rosier. Virunga by Orlando von Einzedel and Joanna Natasagara. They have very difficult to pronounce names, which means they're excellent documentary filmmakers, all of them.
Can I make a correction?
Oh, what is it?
It's Wim Wenders.
Ooh.
I love
good.
correcting people on
No,
that.
that's perfect.
Spelled
Good.
with W's, but he pronounces it with V's.
Interesting. I like it. Fancy.
I know too much.
Well, speaking of knowing things, Ed, what do you think? What do you know about this?
Well, will win, I think, is going to be Last Days in Vietnam. I thought Citizen 4 at first, but I don't know. I think people are starting to think Edward Snowden's kind of a jerk, so I don't think it's going to win. Last Days in Vietnam got a lot of good notices, but I wished Jodorowsky's Dune was nominated because that was the best documentary of the year. Go see it if you can find it.
All right, now we have Chris.
Last year I was surprised when Act of Killing didn't win, and so Citizen 4 is my choice that I'm almost sure will win, but then if it doesn't, I think it'll be Last Days of Vietnam. Both are fine, or better than fine, good. I agree, Jodorowsky's Dune, it was my choice on my Critics
film.
Association ballot, and I'm stunned that it wasn't even nominated or acknowledged at all. It's
a snub.
It's a huge snub about what it's like to make it, what's involved in a movie, and how does an artist balance the professionalism, and also just the insane vision of Aliana Jodorowsky is infectious.
Wesley, you have written Citizen 4 twice, and you have something else underneath there. I can't make it out.
Yes, well, okay, I'm pretty sure Citizen 4 is going to win. It's been winning all this stuff, and it's this incredible just thing that's been captured. It's what documentaries can do, and I think it's really great. It's not my favorite documentary of the year, though. My favorite is this movie, The Unknown Known, directed by Errol Morris. Not even nominated, came out very early in the year, so probably just forgotten, but that would have been my pick if I was choosing. Such a great documentary. I love Errol Morris, yeah.
Well, speaking of things that I can't pronounce very well, we have coming up this year's foreign language films. They hail from all over the world: Sub-Saharan Africa, Poland, Argentina, the tiny town in Footloose. Wait, no, that last one was from the list of places to go before I die. Looks like whoever's running the teleprompter is having some fun with me, but can we talk about that later? Okay, here are the nominees for Best Foreign Language Film. We have Ida, Leviathan, Tangerines, Timbuktu, and Wild Tales. Lots of T's. I like that. I like to hit my T's. That's fun. All right, you guys good? And here we go. Let's start off with Chris. I see a question mark.
They threw a curveball where they nominated a whole bunch of movies that I did not have an opportunity to see. So I've seen some, but I feel unqualified to make a judgment. My instinct tells me it'll be Leviathan. Well, yeah.
You looking at my notes again?
I just looked at your notes. Probably because of its, maybe the surprise of a Russian movie in its atmosphere having some sort of corruption overtones, which has surprised somebody. Maybe, who knows? I haven't seen the other film, so I can't say. There was a film, A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night, which is not a foreign film strictly, but it is a foreign language. It's an Iranian vampire western that I don't know how you can see it. It played at Coolidge Corner, but as soon as it screens, please check it out.
All right, Wesley, what do you think?
I've only seen one of these because, very few of these have even come to Boston yet, and it's Ida, which I also think I would like it to win. That's the only one I've seen, but I think it has a pretty good shot at winning purely because it's also nominated for cinematography, which is a pretty big feat for a foreign language film to make it into this other category, not specifically designated for it. And it's a gorgeous movie. So, I'll be very happy if it wins because I don't know anything about the others.
All the way. And now, Ed, you don't have Ida on
Ida,
there.
by the way, is a gorgeous movie, but my lord, I wanted to take a nap while watching that movie. I was bored, sorry. Leviathan, seen all over the country, great marks, but a film that nobody has seen because it hasn't opened yet around here is Wild Tales from Argentina. Don't watch any trailers. Go see this movie. That's the one that should win. It's wonderful. It's very, very dark humor and crazy. I would vote for that.
Well, let's take a break so I can untangle my tongue and have a conversation with the stupid, incompetent, wonderful, great at her job prompter operator. We'll be right back. Welcome back. I fired the teleprompter operator. I am power crazy. So hopefully the rest of the show will run much more smoothly. Keep rolling. Oh, I fired them. That's right. Well, for those of you just joining us, I'm Jamie Sanders, and this is the Dish 2015 Oscar special. Next up, we've got Trolls, Dragons, and Robots in the Best Animated Picture category, also my family reunion. But anyway, guys, are you ready? Here we go. We have Best Animated Feature, Big Hero 6, The Box Trolls, How to Train Your Dragon 2, Song of the Sea, and The Tale of the Princess Kaguya. Kaguya?
Don't ask me.
Well, whatever it is, I'm guessing that
You're
you
the
guys
one
have-
pronouncing.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. I'm an expert pronouncer. All right. Well, let's start off with Wesley. You could go first. I haven't put you first in a while. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, I think Will Win is pretty guaranteed. It's DreamWorks' How to Train Your Dragon 2, which is a good movie, but it's definitely not the best in this category. Tale of Princess Kaguya is great, but my pick would actually be Box Trolls. Lego Movie is sadly snubbed, but Box Trolls is still great. I love everything Leica's been doing, and they totally deserve the recognition. Stop motion animation does not get enough credit, and this movie is gorgeous and beautifully handcrafted.
All right, Chris.
Sure. I mean, I think Dragon 2 is also a guarantee win. Animated feature is sometimes a default category, and I like that there were some curveballs in this one. But Dragon 2 will win, and it's a good movie, and I will not be upset with an Oscar. But I responded very much to Big Hero 6, and it hit me emotionally, and it's rare that an animated movie does that.
And now, Wesley, I see a question that all of us are asking on your should win, so let's see what you've got.
Oh, you mean me? Okay. He just called me
Oh, sorry,
Wesley.
Ed,
He just
oh
called
my
me
God.
Wesley. We have
Oh
the
my
same
God.
answers, though.
I put
Look.
Wesley.
Look
There
at
we go.
this.
We got
How
it.
to Train Your Dragon is going to win. Box Trolls should, because stop motion animation, absolutely amazing. And there's my question: where is the Lego Movie? Talking about your snubs, that was one of my favorite movies, period, of the year, and I don't know what happened there. I guess it was because the other animators were upset and they didn't vote for it.
Is that
Got
really
me.
why? Do you really think so?
Well, animators vote for animated movies, and it wasn't standard animation; it was CG. You got me, but it was a wonderful film.
That's true. Now, Lego Movie is also interesting because, of course, it is 3D animated, but it looks like it's done with Legos and stop motion,
Yeah.
which is
But
kind
it
of brilliant.
wasn't.
But I really, personally, I love Lego Movie.
Yeah.
I can tell you guys apart, I swear. But anyway, with such an eclectic selection of movies from Ireland, Japan, and right here in the US of A, next up we have some talented composers in the Best Original Score category. All right, gentlemen, here are our nominees for Best Original Score. We have The Grand Budapest Hotel, The Imitation Game, Interstellar, Mr. Turner, and The Theory of Everything. We're pausing dramatically. All right, gentlemen, start your engines. Ed, you are Ed. Show us how Ed you are.
I recuse myself.
Oh.
I didn't pay enough attention to the scores this year. I try to listen to them afterwards if I don't pay attention to them while I'm watching. So I'm not voting, and I have no idea who's going to win. I'm sorry.
All right.
How's that for honesty?
That's very honest. I appreciate it. All right, Wesley.
One person is nominated twice this year. It's Alexander Desplat, who has done amazing work. He scored 5 different movies this year, 5 radically different scores, and he's done great work. The 2 that are nominated are also both great. Both are in my car right now for me to listen to. But I think what's going to win is his score for The Imitation Game, but what should win is his score for The Grand Budapest Hotel. But really, I'll be happy with either because he's a great composer, one of our best.
And now, finally, Chris, what do you think?
So whichever one wins, the other one should have one.
Yep.
Okay. I think Theory of Everything will win. I feel like I've heard a lot of people coming out saying that they love the music, and that's why I think it will win. No other really informed decision there. My favorite score of the year was Mika Levy for Under the Skin.
Oh, no.
Incredible score.
Wow.
It's
I
as
found
much
it
of
to
a
be
character as
rather
anybody.
noisy.
Oh yeah, sure.
Oh, so wait a
Terrifying.
minute, Ed.
Terrible. I was,
Ed, you weren't
Overwhelming.
paying attention
I was
to that.
afraid of the score then. Okay.
Then it did its
Well,
job.
yeah.
I
That's-
guess I
that's the
don't vote for
purpose.
that, though.
Oh, I'm so on board with Under the Skin score. One of the best of the year. I wish it was nominated, but I think it's just too radical and it's too good for the
Yeah,
Oscars.
it's-
It's
There
just
you
too good.
You know, I wonder if Johan Johansson is related to Scarlett Johansson.
Oh, my.
Teleprompter, what are you doing? And that Hans Zimmer, oh my stars, bum 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 bum. Let's keep on the theme of music and go ahead with the best original best original song category. So best original song, Sean Patterson for the Lego Movie. There's our Lego Movie right there. John Stevens and Johnny Lynn, which is of course John Legend and Common for their song in Selma. Diane Warren for Beyond the Lights. Glenn Campbell and Julian Raymond for I'll Be Me. Greg Alexander and Daniel Brisbois for Begin Again. All right, folks. Let's start off with Wesley.
Okay, I'm pretty sure what's going to win this year is Glory. It's been cleaning up everywhere, and it's a good song. But this category, I'm always annoyed with how usually the songs are just what plays over the credits. And part of what I love about not only is Everything is Awesome from the Lego Movie a great, really fun, catchy song, but it's integrated into the movie. It's a part of the movie, which I think should really be key and is rarely a part of these nominees. So yeah, these are my picks.
Ed, there are a lot of exclamation marks on that board. Big old
Everything is awesome. Everything is cool when you're part of the team. And Sean Patterson, who wrote it, by the way, is a local boy from Western Massachusetts. I can't get the song out of my head, and it drives me crazy in the middle of the night when that happens. I hope it wins.
And Chris, let's see what you've got.
I'm going to go with John Legend, also with Glory. It's really unfortunate that Selma really, for Best Picture and Best Song, I mean, that's strange, but the song was amazing, captured the movie. My favorite song of a film from last year was from Frank, starring Michael Fassbender, I Love You All, which is at the end, which does some of the same thing that Everything is Awesome does, which sums up the film in one final emotional moment.
Wonderful film, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, it's interesting. This does seem like it's an opportunity for snubs to be acknowledged. We do have Selma and, of course, Lego Movie in here. Selma has been nominated in other places, though, so do you think that or you seem to think that it's likely that Everything That Is Awesome will take it because this is its only nomination?
I just think it's the best song. That's me. I like pop music, crazy pop music, so that's all I'm basing that on.
Well, I got to admit, everything is awesome when you're part of a team, right, guys?
Right.
Yeah, well, let's take a quick break, and we'll be back in a few to talk about a few choice writers and directors. As you can probably tell from the fact that I'm back on your screen, we are back. The Best Adapted Screenplay category has been home to some of the most widely acclaimed films in the last few years, from Argo to The Social Network to 12 Years a Slave, and yet they still have refused to acknowledge my adaptation script of Snooki's memoir starring the one and only Meryl Streep. Go figure. Everyone's a critic, am I right? Okay, well, here are the nominees that are going to win because, they don't know me yet. All right, guys. Best Adapted Screenplay. American Sniper, The Imitation Game, Inherent Vice, The Theory of Everything, and Whiplash. Whiplash. All right, Chris, what have you got on there?
I think just the suggestion that Meryl Streep will play Snooki is enough to get her nominated for a movie that doesn't even exist yet. I think American Sniper is going to win. I don't think it should. I think there were better aspects of the movie that deserve recognition, and the screenplay is not one of them, but it's going to should win is Inherent Vice, because how do you make a Thomas Pynchon film? You don't. And so you make a Paul Thomas Anderson film, and it's practically the same thing.
All right, now Wesley, you have a similar thing over there.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Sniper's going to win. I'd rather not. I think the screenplay picks basically the least interesting way to tell this guy's story. But I really hope Whiplash makes it in. I love a movie that takes so little resources and does so much with it, like Whiplash does. I don't think it will, though. There's been this whole confusion about it versus adapted or original, because to make the film, Damien Chazelle made a short based on his screenplay. That got into Sundance, and then he was able to get funding for his original screenplay. So it's a very weird thing that I think is just going to confuse voters, and it won't make it in. We'll see.
Now, Ed, you seem very excited about this.
Well, yeah, 4 of the 5 films were accused of taking liberties with the book. Inherent Vice got nothing but praise because it was Pynchon. Nobody ever tried to do a Pynchon before, or this never got one done. I think it was the greatest one, and I think it deserves it, and I think it's going to win, and I've seen it 3 times already, so go for it. Great, it's a very, very funny book, very, very funny movie.
Well, so for once, you guys really are diverging. Yes, diverging on this.
We are divergent.
Yes, you guys are divergent. A film sadly not nominated for Outstanding Adapted Screenplay. Can't imagine why. But anyway, now that we've got the plagiarists out of the way, here are the nominees for Best Original Screenplay, which I could also do one with Snooki, I'm sure. I'm adaptable. Come on, right? No? Okay. Best Original Screenplay, we have Birdman, Boyhood, Foxcatcher, The Grand Budapest Hotel, and Nightcrawler, which this is Nightcrawler's one nomination. Yeah. All right, guys ready? We're going to start it off with Ed.
Oh, sorry, Alex, I'm not through writing.
Trebek.
Yes.
I'm Trebek. What do you think?
I think Boyhood is going to win. I think Birdman should win. I'll leave it with that.
All right, perfect. Chris?
I wrote this down, but now I'm feeling like it's not right. The Foxcatcher will win. I'd be happy if it did, but now I'm feeling like it won't.
Use mine?
Yeah, so here, Birdman's going to win. Boyhood's going to win. Nightcrawler, I think, on the Nightcrawler.
And now Wesley.
I think, I'm hoping that I'm going to agree with them, because I think Grand Budapest is probably going to take it. I think if they award Wes Anderson anything, this will probably be it. And I think it's a great screenplay. I think it's really tightly crafted. I love Nightcrawler's screenplay, though, too, so I'd be perfectly happy with that, or Boyhood, really. But I think Budapest will take it.
Do you think that one of the reasons Nightcrawler got so few nominations is because it made people feel so dirty?
I needed a shower after that movie. Yes, it was a very, very creepy movie.
I think everybody should see the movie twice, once with an audience that laughs and once with an audience that doesn't.
Yeah.
And both versions work. It's hilarious and then it's terrifying.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And now, is there anybody that you guys think could, by some random chance, just sneak in and take this win? Because these are, of course, original screenplays, so someone could see something in that screenplay.
If Jim Jarmusch showed up and took it for Only Lovers Left Alive, if he just walked on stage and took it off, then
One of my top 10 films.
Yeah.
Great film that got ignored by everybody. Yep, wonderful.
Well, all right, folks, it's time to move on to the big heavy hitters. The Best Directors category has seen the likes of Steven Spielberg, Frank Capra, and Clint Eastwood. This year, the nominees include films including A Grandiose Hotel, a washed-up Hollywood actor, and Steve Carell, like we've never seen him before. And frankly, I'm iffy about wanting to see him like that again. Here are the nominees for Best Director. Gentlemen, start your engines. We have Alejandro G. Iñárritu for Birdman. We have Richard Linklater for Boyhood. We have Bennett Miller for Foxcatcher, Wes Anderson for The Grand Budapest Hotel, and Morton Tildum for The Imitation Game. Here we go, and we're going to start with Chris.
Okay. I think Linklater is going to take it for Boyhood because, well, it's a massive undertaking, and I think even people who don't know about film production know that it is a huge achievement. This is another plug for Under the Skin, though, for Jonathan Glazer, Best Director. Again, won't win because he can't because it's not nominated, but massive achievement, I thought, in directing.
Now, Wesley.
I think Birdman is probably going to take this. It's been getting all these awards, and it's kind of just the showiest movie. It's the showiest direction, and a lot of the time the Oscar goes to what is the showiest. And he does a great job. He totally deserves it. I'm kind of pushing for Wes Anderson for Grand Budapest again. Anderson is so present. He's also very showy, but he does such great work. I'd also be very happy with Linklater. The only person that would really upset me in this category is Morton Tildum, because I think he brings pretty much nothing to that movie.
And Ed, you seem to be pretty much on the same page.
We are Iñárritu for Birdman. Wonderful movie. Very, very difficult to direct, I think. I think he's going to win it. And Grand Budapest, it was equally difficult. There were so many things going on at once. It was so much whimsy, too. So it's a dark film, light film. I think that's the one I would vote for, but Birdman's going to take it.
And now you guys have pretty much across the board mentioned either Birdman or Boyhood, and now we have the challenge of directing a long-form take compared to the challenge of directing a long-form 12 years of filming. Yeah.
An amazing achievement also on Boyhood. I would have no problem with that one either.
Yeah, of course.
And
And
a
now
good movie.
Bennett Miller
Great
for
movie.
Foxcatcher, though, this is once again a chance for them to give Foxcatcher something.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
you're
don't
not
think so.
about that?
Not badly directed. I actually thought it dragged a little bit. I thought it was
Well,
longer
and
than it
it's
should
not
have been.
nominated for Best Picture either.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a very acting-heavy movie, I feel like.
Sure.
Yeah, no, it's not in there.
All right. Well, kids, we're going to be back in a few with our final three categories. I am bouncing with excitement. Stay tuned. Bounce, 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 bounce. All right, folks, cue dramatic music. We are getting down to the core categories now. Things are getting so intense as we move on to the most contested category. Hopefully no one gets sniped or murdered by a crazy billionaire wrestling trainer or, becomes Stephen Hawking. I'd become Stephen Hawking. I like Stephen Hawking. Let's move on to our Best Actor nominations, but first, our panel. All right, with me is Ed Simkus, Christopher Jensen, and Wesley Embledge. Are you guys still with me? You guys excited?
Yep.
Guys
We're
hyped
here.
up?
We're
All right,
wired.
here we go. All
do
right,
this.
we are going to go on to our actress nominations. We have Marion Cotillard for 2 Days, One Night, Felicity Jones for The Theory of Everything, Julianne Moore for Still Alice, Rosamund Pike for Gone Girl, and Reese Witherspoon for Wild. All right, let's kick it off with Chris.
Marion Cotillard for 2 Days, One Night. She could have been nominated for that or The Immigrant, and she was on multiple lists for both. I think it's so much of critical success unanimously. It was like last year was her year, and I think both critics and audiences agree with that.
All right, Wesley, how do you feel about this?
Yeah, I mean, she's incredible in that movie. I don't think she's going to win, though, just because I was surprised she was even nominated. It's a pretty small movie. I think the almost guaranteed winner at this point is Julianne Moore, who is incredible in Still Alice, a movie that I don't think is very good, but I think that she completely carries and does great work in. This is also kind of, in a sense, like a lifetime achievement thing. She's never won before, and she's one of our best actresses, so I'm completely on board with her winning here because she is fantastic.
And Ed, you seem to be on the Moore train, too.
I actually have not seen Julianne Moore in Alice, but I think she's going to take it. Where is the nomination for Jennifer Aniston for Cake? A movie that nobody saw because the film company didn't distribute it well and didn't show it to enough critics in advance. Best performance of the year. I'm supposed to keep that short. Julianne Moore will win. Jennifer Aniston should have been nominated and should have won.
Now, this is an interesting thought because we do have Cotillard, who is a fantastic actress. But yeah, Julianne Moore, I've heard from across the board that Julianne Moore is just so outstanding in this that there's really almost no competition. But you seem to think that there is.
Well, sure. Well, if only for the fact that I hear her name come up more than Julianne Moore's. Maybe Julianne Moore is riding away, but it seems like she had an early lead in that embedding in people's minds. I think Julianne Moore and Jennifer Aniston both amazing performances, but they're both performances that carry a movie that's not as good as the performances. I think that might negatively affect them.
Well, we're going to keep this heat moving. We're going to move directly into Best Actor without me being witty or funny. All right, Best Actor, we have Steve Carell for Foxcatcher, Bradley Cooper for American Sniper, Benedict Cumberbatch for The Imitation Game, Michael Keaton for Birdman, and Eddie Redmayne for The Theory of Everything. All right. Okay, let's see. So, Wesley, what do you think?
I think Redmayne is probably going to take this. This is the kind of performance that the Oscars love. It's a real person. It's a disease. It's all this stuff, and he's really good too as a bonus. And yeah, I think he's the best in this category. I don't really love any of these performances that much. There's a lot this year that I would have liked to see in here. Jake Gyllenhaal, David Oyelowo, tons of people. But out of these people, I think Redmayne is the most impressive, especially because before he was not an actor I liked that much.
All right, now we're going to move on to Chris.
I feel like Michael Keaton is riding a wave right now, and I think that is going to carry him through. And I think it's a great, maximum Michael Keaton singularity is in this film. You cannot get much more from him in a good way. That's not a slight. I think David Oyelowo for Martin Luther King. There's no question. I'm mad that he won't. And I'm very emotional right now.
And now I see more Michael Keaton.
Yeah, I think Beetlejuice is a great movie. No, Michael Keaton takes it, playing him. He won't say it, but playing himself in this movie. A remarkable performance from beginning to end, whether or not he was running around in his underwear or fully clothed. Terrific performance. Caught me from the beginning.
This is so interesting because we have Eddie Redmayne, who is such a breakout star. I mean, he was, of course, this is not his first major film, but he's getting so much attention for this, as opposed to Keaton, who he's definitely not washed up, but he's coming out of nowhere after having a career in the past. And
he's played a lot of supporting performances. He was in RoboCop last year.
Weirdly.
Everybody forgot that, and he was pretty good.
Yeah,
Lots of speed, but this is his first time he's had a feature role. I think Hollywood's going to treat him well for the good job that he did.
Yeah. Now, Steve Carell, he has a fake nose. He's doing something nobody's ever seen before from him. Does he have any chance? Does he have a snowball's chance in hell?
He's a supporting actor. He's not the lead of Foxcatcher, so it's pretty strange to see him in this category. And I think he's pretty good. I think he's a little showy for me, but I think he does a very good job. He's not a lead. It's strange to see him here.
Yeah.
Now, you are very passionate about this Selma snub.
Yeah.
So tell us more about that. Just kind of feel free to rant a little bit.
Okay.
Go for it.
Well,
I'd love to hear this.
Yeah, so Selma was nominated for Best Picture, but it was not nominated for any of the individual components that made it a Best Picture in a way that feels like, okay, yeah, Selma will include that, but then not, parse it down the way they do other movies. Everything else has gotten the analysis, but not Selma. The only analysis gotten is like, so you read a thing about Selma, and then the question is, yeah, but was it fair to the white guy?
It's true, not fair to the white guy.
I think that's very insulting for a movie that, that for the first time is fair to Martin Luther King as a human being and as a leader and as a political leader, where politics is part of life, black self-empowerment and solidarity in racial struggle, and then the only thing you talk about is like, LBJ wasn't that bad. And
well, as the all-white male panel of this thing,
yeah.
I think we can all agree that was a snub. But anyway, we're going to get down to the category we've all been waiting for. Are we ready for the most insane part of this show, the award show? Ready? Oh, I'm so excited. Best sound mixing.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. Yeah, best sound.
We can do that one.
Yeah, sure.
All right, I'm kidding. Okay, here we go. We have 8 nominations, guys. 8 nominations for Best Picture. Are you guys ready for this? I am ready. Okay, American Sniper, Birdman, Boyhood, The Grand Budapest Hotel, The Imitation Game, Selma, The Theory of Everything, and Whiplash. That's the most fun to say, I gotta say. All right, so we're gonna kick it off with Chris. Chris, how you feeling?
I'm feeling Boyhood's gonna win it, and of the nominees, I think Boyhood is the one that should win it. Again, my feeling about Selma is that I think everything about Selma deserved its own individual awards: actor, actress, screenplay. And then Boyhood as a film, though, I think like the unity of vision, it really moved me. It's a massive technical achievement, and it's a hit with audiences, and I think it's going to win.
All right, Ed?
I also think Boyhood is going to win, and the gimmick was over right away when I realized what was going on. It's also a great story, all tied together. But that said, why was Inherent Vice not nominated? They could have nominated 10 films. My idea of the best film of the year. I can't wait to see it again. So Inherent Vice, but Boyhood, give it to him.
And now finally, last but certainly not least, Wesley, how are you feeling about this?
I think Boyhood's going to take it, and I think it totally deserves it. It wasn't my favorite film of the year. That was Grand Budapest. This was number 2. But I like Boyhood as this representation of film in 2014, where we are, like what we can do. I think it's a good representation. I think it might hurt the film a little bit, just backlash-wise. A lot of people, it's weird. It went from this little indie movie that was a success to now it's like the front runner for the Oscar that people are going to just groan if it wins. But I think it completely deserves it and it should win.
That being said, Boyhood there have been complaints of inconsistent performances, which you can't really help that when you film over 12 years. That being said, that means that there are inconsistencies that could lead to an upset. For example, do you guys think that American Sniper has any chance of pulling an upset here?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Sure.
Somewhat.
Shouldn't, but it might.
Dark Horse?
Yeah.
Yes.
It could,
A
just
lot of people-
money-wise.
And it got great reviews.
And are there any other ones on here that you think could upset it?
Birdman could totally get in here. I would not be surprised at all.
Well, they've been going kind of neck and neck for different awards.
Exactly, yeah.
Birdman and Boyhood. So yeah, either one of those. It really is a toss-up.
Yeah.
I'm afraid the Theory of Everything is going to sneak in.
Really hope not.
It's
My last pick.
Yeah, so you expanded the movies from 5 to 10 nominees, and then instead of bringing in weird picks, they just take more bait. So you have the Oscar written, directed, and performed as an Oscar movie, and then they just say, yeah, this is an Oscar movie, let's nominate it.
Now, Ed, you have a non-bait movie right there. Do you guys have any non-bait movies that you really would love to have seen on this Best Picture nominee?
Snowpiercer.
Snowpiercer. I love
yeah,
Snowpiercer.
The Double is a great movie
Yeah.
in my top 10
Oh, yeah.
that not enough people saw. It's on Netflix, but would never make it not an Oscar movie in any way.
Jesse Eisenberg was on my Critics Association ballot for The Double. As
really
a
great.
double performance as the good and bad side of himself. Seek out The Double adaptation of Dostoevsky, but it's not as inaccessible as that makes it sound.
I mean, those are all some movies, or as some pretentious ones among us would say, those were some films. I got
Major
whiplash
motion
just from hearing those being talked about. Get it? Whiplash? Okay, well, now we get to have a little more fun here. We have talked about these. Neil Patrick Harris is hosting this. Do you guys think he's going to do a good job? I mean, he does a great job with the Tonys, and he has such a strong, stage presence.
And he can sing and dance.
He can sing and dance. It's
Yes,
true.
He can do all the songs.
Do you think that this is going to be a very good Oscar show this year?
Yes.
I hope so. I always hope so. And I think he's a great choice for host.
If Rosamund Pike wins, she'll go up on stage. I mean, there's a very memorable scene in Gone Girl. But
That's right.
And now, just
Take
because
that where it will.
I'm throwing out questions here, is there a kind of a thing that could be nominated, a category that you guys think should be in the Oscars?
Actually, we talked about that before, about the
Collaborative
motion capture
performance.
performance
Yeah.
is a very important
Should
one.
that have its own individual category?
Yeah. I
think
There's
yes.
enough nowadays?
and collaborative is a good
Yeah,
approach to take.
yeah.
on
That's a
it.
good name.
Because that also includes voice acting if it's
Completely. Of
animated.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. God, I never thought of that. That's, yeah. Well, guys, I am pumped and ready for the Oscars tomorrow. And if Neil Patrick Harris gets randomly attacked by monkeys, you know who to call. It's me, so I can kiss his face. Anyway, I've had a lot of fun, but all this nomming talk is making me hungry. Peace out. Thank you guys so much for coming on. See you guys in our first episode where we throw shade at celebrities.